Hey anime fans, this is Animaniatrix. I'm Alphatreyu, back again, and this time we are here with the show Wiseman's Grandchild. I just finished. I believe this is considered an isekai. Um, I'm not sure how, but if I'm not mistaken, this is supposed to be an isekai, and as you all know, I'm in the isekai type anime. Watching this, I didn't get any type of isekai vibe, so I could be wrong, and I could be miscategorizing this, but I'm pretty sure at least the source of recommendation referred this to me as an isekai. But going into this show, and from start to finish, I can't see why this was considered an isekai. Or maybe I just missed something, so could be wrong. But anyway, so I just finished this show. Um, let's talk about it. Let's talk about Wise Man's Grandchild. Now, my first thought go right after finishing this show is this show seemed like it's probably best for kids. You know, um, this show for me uh was kind of hard to get through. I must admit, I felt like it was kind of dragging along. Definitely not one of my favorite supposed isekai animes. At my anime list, I gave this one a 5 out of 10. But I did follow through with watching it, and typically, if I consider something on the rank of 5 or low, I would tend to drop it. But that usually would be because there's something in the show that is off-putting. This didn't really have that, but for me, I feel like the story didn't. Uh, how should I say it? Everything seemed pretty rushed with this show. Now, granted, by the 10th episode, it started to get interesting, and the momentum started to pick up by episode 10, and it seemed to have a little bit more promise by the 10th episode. And so by that time I said, okay, well, it waited so late in the series to start to pick up. Is there, a season 2? Because there's only a few episodes left. So I checked it out, trying to see if there's anything for season 2. As far as I can tell, there is no season 2, which makes the finale even more confusing because that was a dramatic cliffhanger. This show is kind of like reminded me of Black Clover. Anybody familiar with Black Clover, or uh, Black Clover fans out there? Those who've seen Black Clover, and those who may not know what Black Clover is basically, as this show, a show centered around, or a world centered around um, magicians or people who have magic powers, and uh, there's somewhat of a system where there's commoner and then the royals. So in that way, the this show is similar to Black Clover. There's a lot of major differences because obviously I'm rating this one a 5, and I've rated Black Clover more than a 5. And well deserving, I feel as though, as it is. But I do still think could be comparable to Black Clover, minus a lot of things, even the grimoire, because even in this show, you're either citing incantations to use your magic, or you're able to just cast magic through your own, ability to manifest it by thought. Um, so it has all the elements that you would think that a show like this would have more going on for it. I should say, but I guess it just seems too childish for me. Maybe if it was uh, filmed a little more gritty or more mature, it would have done. I feel like a little better, or found I would have found it more interesting. I think this show would be, right in the realm of like anime that's like Monster Rancher or uh, Fighting Foodons or Yu-Gi-Oh type of anime or stuff like that. So not really, not really. Like I just watched my just not really much. Definitely like black and white and a contrast from the previous video that I just uploaded. That one, well, as I mentioned, was one of the most mature animes that I've watched thus far, or completed, I should say, thus far. Um, in contrast to this one, which seems to be very targeted to a younger audience. So I do think in that when you go into it with that lens, I think you would enjoy it with that understanding a little better. But for those who are into more mature stuff, I think you could kind of cross this off your plan to watch list. But so I I'm is it even much that I can talk about in this one? For those who have seen the show, uh, as I said, by the 10th episode, it started to pick up. The antagonist in the show, um, by episode 10, we get a little more background on him. Uh, he's the tan, bronze skin, bronze complected gentleman. He has white hair, the white hair, and then at first he has like a kind of like a blindfold on, kind of like the one that Cyclops. It reminds me of the Cyclops off of X-Men, the one that protects his eyes from shooting laser beams out of his eyes. And it's funny, just just like Cyclops, when the blindfold is taken off, he does have red eyes. Now, and when he goes into his backstory, talks about the things that he's gone through or his motivations for becoming the antagonist. He still has like a crimson or scarlet colored eyes in the pupil, right? But now, in present time, he has his entire his entire eye is like fire red, so, or like wine colored. So, like the entire, like not just the pupil, but his entire eyes are red, and so are they call them demonoids, where he transforms other people into, or giving them power or storing power upon them. He's found a way to uh, give them power or power like his, and I guess his plan is to overtake these kingdoms, um, because he wants to get vengeance. When his first power surge, according to his flashback, his first power surge, what sparked it was they were conspiring against him. He wanted to do good. He wanted to come and raise the commoner class to live in peace or live a better life. live more, I guess you could say, instead of having a system where there are haves and have nots, he wanted to make it to where everyone could live in, I guess you could say, somewhat of a paradise or a utopia. This is what his angle was. But at first he started to gain a lot of momentum, a lot of followers, a lot of the commoners supported him, but the royals, they didn't like that. They conspired against them. They in the night they would all meet up together and talk about how to or what they can do to stop him from becoming the emperor because he was gaining a lot of support. And so they extended they came up with a plan, extended themselves to him, and he gullibly fell for trusting them to go off and meet with them. And meanwhile, uh, as he's meeting with the royals and everything, I forget actually what the purpose or what they were trying to do, but it was all a ruse anyway, because as he's there, they're slandering him, spreading rumors against him, saying all these things, and making all his followers lose doubt in him, blaming uh, uh, kidnappings of women on him and things of the sort. So they're framing him and blackmailing him. So once he is done with his business, I think he was gone for about I think they said 3 months or 3 weeks, or some amount of time he was gone, away from his wife, who or his woman or whoever she is to him, who was pregnant, seemingly pregnant with his child. Um, the people were in an uproar against him. They wanted to basically slay him. They wanted to massacre him. They wanted to kill him. So they rioted and were looking for him, tried to find him, went to his home, burned his home down with his wife in it, just in time for him to pull up and see that his home was on fire and find his wife dead. And just like any origin story, this is where he gets a surge of power, and he basically like goes off, and you see it's like an atomic bomb, mushroom cloud and all. Goes up into mushroom cloud and all goes up into the sky with this big explosion comes out of him, and he has this huge surge of magic come off of him, and he's at this point one of the most powerful magicians um, in the land. And him having a history of, I think they said he was a demon slayer at some point. He takes his ambitions and decides that he wants to get revenge on not just the royals but the commoners as well. So he wants to basically overtake all of these kingdoms. So fast forward in present time, he's bestowing these abilities, or giving his power to certain people, and that he could use as his pawns to fulfill his ambition. Now that's the antagonist aspect. From the protagonist, we got I think his name is Shin. Sorry, I don't remember names too well, but I think Shin. His name is Shin. It's basically the only name I can remember because they kept saying it so many times. Um, so not too sure about his origin stories, other than he was basically a child prodigy and was raised pretty much with an exceptional understanding of magic and how to uh, use magic, or with his understanding of magic, how to basically uh, exponentially get better with his magical powers, and even invent and create certain spells, attack spells, defensive spells, enchantment spells. So he's basically the prodigy, and he's the grandson of the grandson of the world renowned, most famous, uh, retired, mind you, um, old elder magicians of old that were for wow, I kind of I forget what made his grandfather and grandmother so popular. I think they were just they've done something in the past that made them say they had saved the kingdom, and so they were basically what known as one of the most or some of the most powerful magicians of their time, but they're retired, and they have him, and so now he's around, and he's basically given the mantle to become one of the most powerful magicians of his time. And so he goes into the kingdom. Well, he's raised out in the outskirts, but eventually, once he gets old enough of age to start school and everything, he goes into the kingdom and basically starts to take over because his magic is so powerful. And he his magic is so powerful, and they want to make a club with this guy. So for the most part, the show basically becomes a clash between Shem, and the white-haired, red-eyed, brown-skinned antagonist. I don't know his name. It might be Oliver. Nah, I can't be Oliver. I don't know where I'm getting that from. But so that's basically what the story is around. Now, other than being other than giving you the quick or a Cliff Notes version of the story, I really don't have too much comments about the show. Other than for me, it was just kind of draggy to get through. So I can't say the show is bad, but it wasn't very captivating or fun to watch either. Um, for the most part, I think you will enjoy it if you watch it, but not my cup of tea, so to speak. I think they had a lot more. They had a lot more that they could have done with this, but they really, I don't know. I don't know. It feels like they just kind of dropped the ball with this one. I am kind of disappointed. I guess this is one of the few animes that I watched I was kind of disappointed with. Um, because I did want to I did want it to be more. I did want more from it, right? Um, Typically this concept is overdone where you get like a overpowered main character. We've seen this type of thing with overly cautious hero or how not to summon a demon lord. Show animes like that. Um, this is kind of in that category, you know, but I just feel like it just wasn't done. It wasn't really done well. Again, it seemed a bit. Oh, the story did seem a bit rushed, and there didn't really seem to be much depth in the plot or depth in even the storytelling itself. However, I do think it is kind of like one of those things that you could watch it and in most cases turn into background because it's not really going to hold. It's not really that type of thing like a movie where sit down and watch and it will hold your interest. It's kind of like one of those things you just kind of like Saturday morning cartoons. You cut it on and just I just have something on, have something playing. That's the kind of vibes I get from it. But all in all, that's it for Wiseman Grandchild. You guys tell me what you think. Am I being too hard on it? Maybe I'm missing something. Let me know in the comments. Let me know if there's anything that you would like my opinion on this show. I do know there are a lot of people that like this show. I don't know. I did not enjoy it. I just felt like I was kind of disappointed in it. So just let's talk about it. If anything you guys want to add to that, feel free to leave it in the comments and let me know what you guys think. Alright, guys. Enjoy.